I'm so excited. So I have my first pro boxing fight coming up on September 14th. It's gonna be my first boxing fight period, but it's also my first pro fight, and that was one of my goals, is to have a pro fight. And also this weekend I'm testing in jiu-jitsu as well. So it's like pro fighter, future brown belt. It's just, sometimes in life, you just have to pause for a second and just have a moment of gratitude for how far you have come. I'm just like, can we just take a moment? Okay, let's get into the roll. Here I am rolling with Laura. Actually here I'm taking off my pants. That's how every good fight starts. So once you have your pants off, now it's a party. So in this jiu-jitsu rolling commentary, I am rolling with Laura. Laura and I are both purple belts, and she is by far my favorite training partner. Now take a look at what she's about to do. She is about to do some clamp guard game. I have a clamp guard video. I'll also link it, that goes into depth on what she's doing. If you like what you see here, you're gonna love that video with Brian Glick, who has some BJJ Fanatics Instructionals, like I actually do, for Mounted Triangle. So take a look at this. Do you see how she's putting her foot in my elbow pit? You see that? That is a perfect transition, so you can go from a clamp guard to a triangle. And it's great too, because if you have control over their wrist, then you get it first and they don't grab your leg. So here, look at this setup. The first key thing is to get an overhook. And the thing is, if you fight for an underhook, guess what? They're gonna fight back for an underhook, and what is that gonna give you? An overhook. Now this hip control is huge. When I first started doing this clamp guard game, I would forget about hip control. And do you see how she has either a foot on my hip or a shin on my hip? That is to prevent me from, that's a guard. So that prevents me from passing. And then this elbow pit foot gives the triangle. So from here, I do a triangle escape, because game recognizes game. You know what I'm saying? Game recognizes game. We are at, if you see the background, we are at Precision Jiu-Jitsu in New Hampshire. They have a really good open mat. So here's some offensive jiu-jitsu. Little face slap, little punch feint. All right, now here's some more clamp guard game. The leg goes across, and now she is going for a sweep, and guess what direction? The direction my hand is posting. It would have worked, but I know the game, so I knew exactly where she was going with it. From here, she has a shin in, so she's going for a scissor sweep. So I put my weight back, because anytime you feel somebody loading, this is like white belt stuff. Anytime you feel them loading, you can, put the weight back. And the reason why I say white, blue belt stuff is because if you put your weight back with an upper belt, they have an answer for that too. So if you rolled with upper belts, and it feels like no matter what you do, it's wrong, but it's not wrong. They just have game for it, This shin staple pass is something that I was playing with, because everybody nowadays has such sticky hooks, and what makes it better is if you post your hand on their top leg, that way their leg can't follow you. So you're using your shins to staple their legs to the ground. So if you feel like anytime you're passing and you feel like they're getting these sticky hooks and you're getting swept a lot, think about using your shin to staple both of their shins to the ground. that's typically, you know, you're just nailing down those butterfly wings. Put them in your collection. That's weird. I don't know if I could just stare at dead bugs and not feel bad. It's not weird, I guess. Different strokes. Different strokes. This is a non-judgmental channel.
En el serial todo cambia en un segundo. Órdenes de arresto para todo el mundo. Los esposan y con las caras tapadas para Telemundo. Baby, que Dios me guarde dentro un globo. Porque te ven facturando y te hacen un boicot como hicieron a Cobo. Y Dios mío, cuídame los míos. Pude haber sido una estrella y escogí ser otra pieza. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up.
DJ Bebo, okay?
She did a very good job of doing armpit post to stand up. And anytime you feel that you're inside somebody's guard and they're making a lot of angles, if you post your hands inside their armpits and put weight on it, then that also controls their hips. It's called inside position. I do that all the time. And here is a nice little number. I was playing a lot with fan sweeping. So fan sweeping to get the underhook and to go for pendulum game from the fan sweep. So it's really funny when you like go for something and then they know what you're going for and you just go for it again, because why not? We're offensive. We like offensive jiu-jitsu. So here I have one. I have both of her feet, but you notice how, look at her hip position here. And the neck crank. But to prevent open guard sweep, she did a very good job of getting her hips in, and that caused me not to have the extension needed to do the sweep. So here, going for that triangle, and she slips out like a greased up newborn baby. Okay, this move right here, this straight leg, do you see that? If anybody ever has an underhook on your leg, a brown belt did this to me in Brazil. Stiffen your leg and then shoulder scoop back. And typically when somebody underhooks your leg like that, it is them trying to clear a knee shield. So if you have a knee shield and they underhook it, straighten it and put all of your weight on it and shimmy backwards. Oh yeah, that, you might have to rewind that. That was a side control escape to Ashi, which I do all the time. All right, so here's some tips for some offensive jiu-jitsu. So basically, do you see how right now the game is butterfly sweeps to crushing the butterfly hooks? And what she was doing before was she was keeping low and keeping my heels to my butt. I found the hard way, if anybody's trying to sweep you using butterfly hooks, this is the position you want to be in right here. Do you see where she is? How she has my feet to my butt? My biggest mistake when I was coming up was I love pressure passing. And when you pressure pass, it typically means that you are piking up, meaning your butt's in the air to drive your shoulder downward. And that is the perfect position to get swept. Oh, this is magical right here. Wow. Let's give it up for spatial awareness. I was like, who is squatting like that? Oh, see the sweep.
Baby, que Dios me guarde dentro un globo, porque te ven facturando y te hacen un boicot como hicieron a Cobo. Y Dios mío, cuídame los míos. Pude haber sido una estrella y escogí ser otra pieza. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up.
DJ Bebo, okay?
Socorro, lo encontraron muerto en el morro. Trabaja para el gobierno y yo la cara te borro. Te matamos si te nos vas por chorro. Y si me toca fugarme les corro. Lo prendimos en fuego, ese cabrón estaba gritando socorro. Yo soy un demonio desde cachorro. Si me enzorro, saco la fuleta y los forros. Y al papá le mata, yo te mato. Investigaciones de asesinato, la calle está cambiando. Ahora hay muchos jefes choteando, cabrones jodieron el contrabando.
Oye, DJ Bebo. Oye, esto es un saludo exclusivo para DJ Bebo, el más duro detrás de los platos. Te lo dice Dios, versión.
How many of them could've did it with finesse? Now everybody like she really is the best. You played checkers, couldn't beat me playing chess. Now I'm about to turn around and beat my chest. Just King Kong, yes, this King Kong. Just King Kong, this is King Kong. Chinese ink on, Siamese links on. Call me 2 Chainz, name go ding dong. This is King Kong, yes, I'm King Kong. This is King Kong, yes, Miss King Kong. In my kingdom, with my Tim's on. How many championships? What? 6 rings on. They need rappers like me. They need rappers like me. So they can get on their keyboards and make me the bad guy, Chung-Li. Hey yo, I've been on, you been con. Bentley tints on, Fendi prints on. I mean, I've been storm, X-Men been formed. He keep on dialing Nicky like the Prince on. I've been on, you been con. Bentley tints on, Fendi prints on. Hey yo, I've been north, Laura been Croft. Play say Chung-Li, drop the bins on.
So say good night to the bad guy. Come on. The last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this again.
Make this here with all the ice on in the booth. At the gate outside, when they pull up, they give me loose. Yeah, jump out, boys. That's Nike boys. I've been our goose. This shit way too big. When we pull up, give me the loot. Was off the Remy, had a back boost. Had to hit my old town to duck the news. 24-hour lockdown, we made no moves. Now it's 4 a.m. and I'm back up popping with the cool. I just landed in Chase B mixes pop like Jamba Joe's. Different color chains, see my jeweler really selling fruits. And they joking, man, know the doctors wish you was a news. Someone said, Going sad. This shit way too formal, y'all know I don't follow suit. Stacy Dash, most of these girls ain't got a clue. All of these made off records I produce. I might take all my exes and put them all in a group. Hit my essays, I need the booch. About to turn this function into final room. Told her I been, you coming too. In the 305, treat me like I'm Uncle Luke. Have to slot the top off, it's just a roof. She said, where we going? And I said, the moon. We ain't even make it to the room. She thought it was the ocean, it's just a pool. Now I gotta open, it's just a ghost. Who put it together, I'm the glue.
So if you are a white or blue belt coming up, I guess I'll do a little story time. So I wanted to share something with you to help you out, like in your jiu-jitsu journey, and also it's kind of like a life lesson that I learned to apply like in life because I learned it on the mats. There's this thing with humans, like I used to live in northern Maine and Canada was right across the river. And for some reason, we would always like we would always make fun of the Canadians, even though we were technically French too. It's almost like when you're, as a human, when we're really close to something, we sometimes view it as like a competition or a competitor or something that we shouldn't like. I don't know why we do this. I remember it happened to me, like when I was a white belt, you know, the coach brought on this blue belt that I could beat kind of easily. And so he took her under his wing and, you know, she like demoted herself to white belt. And so he basically coached her individually and used me like as a measuring stick. And to me, it felt like, you know, I lost my coach. Like my coach, all of a sudden, you know, whenever we would roll, he would be coaching her and teaching her game that was basically, that would beat my game. Like he was teaching her things that I didn't know anything about. It wasn't on the curriculum. And I remember thinking, okay, like this is kind of like my motto, like every obstacle in life is an opportunity for me. This is an opportunity for me. And I realized, hey, look, we are similar skill level, similar weight class. Like, we should drill together. She should be my ally on the mat. Like, who else? If we team up, we can be unstoppable. So I asked her to drill, and you know, we would drill takedowns, and it was amazing because we had the ability to go at 50% and to know how to amp it up for each other. And it was like, it created this beautiful symbiotic relationship out of something that could have, you know, tore us both down. So that's one thing. And I felt that too. Like when I was at white and blue belt, I would go on the mat and I would sometimes look at who was, you know, like really close to me in skill level and weight class. And a part of me would want to almost like either, you know, destroy them or avoid them. Like it was like confronting that made me realize when it would happen to me in life instances. And that really helped me grow as a person because I was able to recognize it in myself and, you know, and realize that instead of looking at something like it was an enemy, like how can I look at this as an opportunity to grow? Because sometimes your biggest enemy can actually be your ally. You know what I'm saying? It's like how we view the world. Either it's full of friends or full of foes. And I like to be surrounded by friends. You know what I'm saying? All these invisible friends. All right, so thank you. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, bye. Love you.
Cuídame a los míos, pude haber sido una estrella y escogí ser otra pieza.
I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up.
DJ Bebo, ¿ok?
Oíste, cabrón. Socorro, lo encontraron muerto en el morro. Trabaja para el gobierno y yo la cara te borro. Te matamos si te nos vas por chorro. Y si me toca fugarme el escorro.